Sorry, everybody who's recording. I have like 100 computers working right now. Okay. 278. We're going to actually start streaming. We're going to actually start doing things. It's about to be incredible. Hey, party people. Okay, let's go. Hey, it's me right here coming to your ears. It's so excited to be here. That was awkward. It's awkward on purpose. Honestly, I don't know that I can do a normal intro. I don't know that I'm capable. It's not in my skill set. And here we all are, living our best lives, getting through the intro every day. We're all living. It's good. Okay. So my great thing from yesterday really is I've been working on making myself sit through hard things. And my natural existence is to avoid hard things. All the hard things, like if I know the ending of a movie and I know it's about to be miserable and I know that everybody's about to find out that the baby's not theirs, whatever it is, like I need to leave the room. I can only handle the portion that involves, where everybody makes up and everything's just fine. I don't want the downturn. I don't want it. So yesterday I was in a room and the discussion was just dark and heavy and headed a lot of different directions and none of them were good. And I wanted so badly to escape. And I think, as I've been opening myself up more to the feelings of lows and highs, I've been experiencing even lower. And, that's in me allowing myself to be as I present in this world as an empath and really feel that. And on my way home, like, my heart actually felt physically heavy from that discussion. And, usually I would just try to leave. I would find a way to exit that conversation. And I've been making myself sit through it because it always ends, right? And I have to embrace and acknowledge that the world doesn't just exist in the one way that I wish that it did, which is happy and wonderful and perfect, and it just doesn't. That doesn't mean that we can't strive for that. That doesn't mean that I can't be that light for people. It just means that it exists in both ways. And for me, a big portion of my growth is in this work, right? In me forcing myself to sit there and feel it. Even though it's bad, even though it's heavy, even though it feels like that weight can't be lifted and it's not even worth trying to lift, I have to put myself there because I have to start realizing that hanging out with those feelings doesn't mean that they take me down. It also doesn't mean that I can't still find the light for people, because that is inherently my gift, is finding lights when people want that. But I can't just skate into conversations and find light if I don't fully understand. And so, yeah, I've been working on navigating that. And last night was a huge win because it was just like, no, just keep sitting here. It'll pick up. You might be the one to pick it back up, right? Or maybe you just need to sit here. Maybe you just need to experience this for some unknown reason. And, when I was driving home, I think it's just this realization that the way things impact me, if I let myself go there fully, is just deep, is heavy. Like I can't get it off my mind. How can I help? How could I help fix this? What can I put together? And what is going on, right? And so that's where my mind will go. And I think that that's a gift. And I'm only beginning to tap into that. But think of when you pair empatheticness, that's not a word. I said it anyways. Think of when you pair that with this ability to find the good, with this ability to develop things out of nothing, with this ability to keep going no matter what, beautiful things come from that. But if I continue to be busy avoiding the hard stuff, I'll never be able to fully tap into what I want to do, right? Help. And so I got to keep going. I have to keep tapping. I have to keep allowing myself to navigate lows and highs and not just superficially navigate the highs because that feels more comfortable. Lows exist. Period. That's it. End of story, Hannah. Take that pill in. Lows exist. And so last night, my great thing was really participating in the lows and experiencing the full roller coaster effect of that conversation and fully diving in and fully listening and taking part. And that's not something that I've always done. I've always found a way out of that room, out of that conversation, because I know how it impacts me. I know how heavy it is. And I know how much it's going to hurt, and I'm going to avoid that at all costs. Well, I'm working on participating. And I did last night. And I find this new release of energy when I allow myself to do it. Because it seems like I have all this pent up energy in avoidance because I have this underlying fear of missing out, right? And so when I don't participate fully in those conversations or when I exit, I want to know. And so then there's heaviness there too. And this feels lighter. The participation, full participation of those conversations feels lighter than the avoidance. And that's a great thing for me. That's a great thing for me to realize. It's also great that I'm experiencing entirety, right? The whole thing. I can't just keep opting out because it's low. And that's going to help in all of this work. That's going to help as I continue to help and navigate and help grow people, right? Allowing myself to experience those things regardless. And that's vital. So that's my great thing. Take time today to recognize yourself for your great thing. I know it's crazy. No, it's not. It's not crazy. We don't use that word. It's amazing. Your greatness. You realize how amazing that is, right? You realize how amazing you are. If you're shaking your head right now, stop. Hard stop. Okay? So today we're talking about, okay, what I wanted to say was let's dive in, but what I realized yesterday, and I do quality checks probably once or twice a month, and so I'll listen to the episode. And yesterday in my quality check, I realized how many times I say, let's dive in, and I feel like I'm just leading you all astray. So I'm going to work on saying that less. It should only be in the, after the music intro, and it shouldn't be in the soft intro and the music intro and the episode intro after our great thing. Hanna, take a chill pill. Hey, and if you ever notice something like that, like you're like, wow, she really is annoying me when she does this thing, when she keeps saying, let's dive in, let's dive in, let's dive in, go ahead and drop me a message. You know, that helps me improve your experience. That helps me improve my craft. And I don't always know, right? I do quality checks. But for the most part, it's just this gal right here, right in front of you, chatting with you. And if I do something that's just outwardly annoying, but overall you appreciate this message and this podcast, then go ahead, message me, let me know. Help a girl out. Just a girl, an awkwardly sized bedroom, and a microphone. You know? And that's so funny that I would say that, because I always wanted to be like my life goal. And right now my 7-year-old has a similar life goal. Okay. When I was probably right around high school, middle school age, there was this show on, and it was called Two Guys, a Girl in a Pizza Place. And my goal was to be that girl. She was so free and sporty and cool, and she just hung out with the guys, and she worked in a pizza place. And so the first thing I did as soon as I became age able was to land myself a pizza job at the local pizza place. I just knew that Two Guys, a Girl in a Pizza Place was going to be my future. And I hope that most of you know the TV show that I'm referencing. If you don't, it's probably on YouTube, though I've never looked for it. So anyways, that was my life goal. That was what I needed to do right in that moment. And I got there. I did it. I became that. Now, I did not have the two guys. The story didn't all play out the way that it was meant to. It definitely wasn't that environment, but I still had that experience. And it's important that you see things and then you work to go get them. Now, I couldn't employ two handsome and charming men to work alongside me while also recording and publishing a TV show, but I think, you know, it probably more played to this idea, and I wonder what her job was. Oh my gosh. Outside of that, it seems like she was striving to be an actress or a writer or something deep, which is funny because a lot of the things that I was attracted to were like that. Like, a lot of the storylines that I was attracted to, the main character would have this underlying goal or this underlying dream. And I think that's so funny because I really am similar, right? Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm going to read you Two Guys, a Girl in a Pizza Place. Berg and Pete are two graduate students who share an apartment and work at a pizzeria. Their upstairs neighbor and former housemate in college, Sharon, helps keep them in line and gain perspective. But that doesn't really say much about what it was about. I don't know. There's a lot of episodes to hear, but you can watch it, and I'm going to. You should know this. I'm trying to read more about it. It's so funny. It's like a thing. You can buy the DVDs. They're $30.99 on Amazon right now. You can probably buy the full set for that. Huh. Okay. It ran for 4 seasons. It had a very dedicated fan base. I have to learn more about this. This is not what we're talking about today. But it came up. I don't know. Out of nowhere. But that really was my goal. And it's so amazing. Because that's kind of how the world works, right? You can just want to do something and then go do it. And that's what this work is. And my hope is that I prove to myself, to people who look like me, to people who feel like me, that you can just wake up tomorrow, dream it different, and start moving forward. And you don't need all the things that people tell you you need, right? You don't have to have all of those limiting beliefs that are sitting out in front of you that are telling you that you can't go do that thing. You don't have to have those things. You can figure it out. Swear. You can figure out how to be two guys, a girl in a pizza place. You know, my guy was a middle-aged, balding man who had a gambling problem. My pizza place was a crumbling pizza place right on the main street of the hometown that I lived in. I was the girl. We even had, I made the owner get shirts like theirs with our logo on it. I'm telling you, it was amazing. It was exactly as I pictured it. And that's what you owe it to yourself to do. So what we're talking about today is that life is hard. And the conversation that I had last night, it was just like, people are suffering, right? And the layers of things that they're suffering with right now are deep. There are a lot of layers. It is like winter with no heater. In the middle of Iowa, you would just be layered up. You couldn't even walk straight. There are so many things going on right now, and people are hurting, and life is heavy, right? We have financial implications from COVID. We have social, economical, children situations with what's going on with COVID. There's just a lot. And then layer on that you just have to keep carrying on with life as normal. Right? Right in the very middle of everything that's going on. And then in my home state, there's devastation right around us, right? And we're working on figuring out how we can help. And there's just so much. It's so heavy, and life is heavy, which is why for me it's important that I allow myself to fully feel the heaviness, and I've been working on that. We talked about it. Sheesh, broken record. But that's why it's vital. That's why this work right here, this work that we go through, that I challenge you, that we keep calling different questions of who you want to show up in this world as, that's why it's important. Because life is heavy. Because life could change within a second. I mean, I never thought I'd be living in a day where you can't find a desk, where you can't get it delivered, where you can't just go to a store and go pick it up. That's craziness to me. We've always had access. I never thought I'd be living in a place where complete cell phone towers would go down, where I can't communicate with my closest friends because they're living in wreckage, where people are living in tents, right? And within an instant, that all changes. And every single day we talk about things that are about self-growth, that are about living life on your terms, that are about you being the person you're called to be in this world. And why? Why? Life is so heavy. Do we really have to make it heavier? I mean, trust me. I'm going through that right now. It's just like, Hannah, why do you keep pushing it? Why do you keep wanting more? Why do you keep diving in? Life is hard enough. Stop. Because you're worth it. Because the dreams that you have in your heart aren't going to get any closer if you keep just talking about them. Right? In fact, they actually get heavier. They strain you more than if you would just start moving forward. You can't get there just thinking about it. Right? And if your life changed tomorrow, wouldn't you wish that you had started 3 days ago? The perfect moment to figure yourself out, to start diving into this work, is right now. You will never be more able. You will never have better connections. You will never be in a better place. There is a chance that everything could change tomorrow. And the greatest thing that you could do is fully know yourself, fully understand where you go and why. And it seems counteractive, right? Oh, if I work on myself, I'll be ignoring everyone else. No, work on yourself so you can fully give yourself. So you stop pulling out of instances. So you are there. So you are available to people. Right? Because knowing who you are allows people to call on who you are. And it allows you to know when you need called in and when you don't. Right? Because some of us just get called into everything. Because we kind of wear all the hats and we're just super capable and we don't know. We just want to help. Right? And the helping feels good. And so that feeds another piece of what we're looking for, right? Match ego with not wanting to tap into lowness. If you just keep moving, if you just keep staying involved in everything, you'll never touch anything. Yay! It'll never get deep and hard because I'm just moving so fast I can't even pay attention to anything. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. No. You're going to hit that low. You can't run high forever. You can't stay above it. It's like running on water. Eventually, you have to slow down and you will sink. And I'm only speaking of that, from my own experiences. I was sinking fast. And I didn't want to. I wanted to just stay above it all. And the greatest thing that I ever did was start looking at myself. And the funny thing is, for the longest time, I was like, oh, we're good. We don't have to look at all that we've accomplished. Probably that inner work, probably that self-work is just something we should talk about because it's so cool right now. And if we just post books but we never read them, and we go to conferences but we never actually listen, people will start to seek knowledge from you, right? Because you're just enlightened. And while there is some truth to that, until I really actually dove into the work, until I actually started reading the words and applying them, I couldn't really be anywhere to help anyone, because it's not just that. It's not just pretty Instagram pictures and cool quotes. It's more than that. Because here's the deal. While I'm not leaps and bounds ahead of where you are right now, what I am is living through it with you. And so if you want to know what it looks like to start on a quest to figure out if you're allowed to live life on your terms, to heal from things, to learn things, to pull in new instances, you can start at episode 1. They weren't actually numbered back then, but you can start there. And you can live through this journey of what it looked like from day 1 of starting that. And we went to a lot of crazy places. I shall warn you, there's weird rapping episodes. There's episodes where I sing once in a while. These are things that should not happen on a normal podcast. But you get to experience that. And I'm still learning every day. For goodness sakes, yesterday I just pulled in this realization that I'm just living on my phone and trying to avoid the actual work that I need to do to make this work. Right? Someone said to me the other day, that's a lot of work to not be giving yourself any credit. I'm like, yeah, but I want it to grow organically, and really it is. And they're like, right, but you should also try. And I'm like, ouch, ew, it still hurts to just say out loud. Kind of took my breath away, right? But that's just it. You know, so many times we just put ourselves away. We just say, you know what? That self-help stuff, I'm going to get to it. That self-discovery stuff, I'm going to get to it. But right now I got to love on everybody else. I got to help be there for everyone else. And I think the biggest disservice that you can do to yourself is putting yourself on the back burner for everyone else, because you not showing up as you is actually at the expense of other people, right? It hurts. It hurts them, and more than anything, it hurts you, because eventually, and I hear this a lot, eventually you wake up and you don't even know who you are anymore, because you've spent so much of your time being someone for someone else, or for 100 people, right? And the fact that the world can change within an instant, the fact that everything can go haywire, that diagnosis and crazy things happen all the time, means that you are never at a better time in your life than right now to figure this out. And if crazy stuff has happened to you and you're going, is this worth it? Should I even do this? I'm exhausted already. This could be the thing to get your energy back. This could give you tools to show up stronger. And not even this podcast. You know, I think so many different people speak and tell their stories and continue to write and work and enter these spaces. And there's a reason, right? We're all doing the same thing. We're all saying essentially the same things. And I talked to someone a little while ago, and they're like, well, I mean, you're not saying anything that's not being said, so, right? And they do like that awkward face where like their neck muscles jet out, you know. I'm like, it's not about the things that I'm saying as much as it is about the story I'm telling, right? Representation matters. And you continuing to go until you find someone that speaks to you in the right way. I had to tap into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 8 resources just in the last year, and I'm not even close to done. Because you're going to need different things at different stages. You're going to have to keep working through and try it. Enough of the people that are out there doing this work offer what they have for free within a podcast or a YouTube channel or a blog or something. Enough of people doing self-discovery work, of people helping you to live your life on your terms. They offer a free instance, which means there's really no excuse. You don't even have to make a monetary investment to figure out if their work is for you or not, right? Or they have an Instagram. Go read the actual things they put below their picture. That'll tell you, does it vibe with you or not? Is this a story that you can see yourself in or not? And if it's not, then keep going. You don't have to take on work, to invest in work that worked for Sheila down the road just because it worked for her. If you read it, if you experience it, and it doesn't jive with you the way it did for her, yeah, that's going to happen. Keep going. You aren't always going to need it right then when it's given to you. It isn't always going to hit with you the way it does with them. You don't know where they're at in their journey. So your work really is just to continue showing up for yourself. Do not settle until you find someone, something some resource that speaks to you, right? Maybe it's podcasting. Maybe it's reading, blogs, stories, books. Maybe it's seminars. Maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe it's YouTube videos. Whatever it is, keep going. Because life is heavy. And it's hard. And it only gets harder when you don't know who you are and how you're supposed to show up in this world. When you just keep showing up for everyone else and never yourself. The time to do that work is now. Because you are moments away from your life changing and you losing the ability to dive fully in. So go. Go now. Do it now while you're able, while you're tired, while you're lonely. Do it. You're never going to regret investing in yourself. You will never regret it. That's all we have for today. Woo! Could have went for another 20 minutes, but I can't. There's a timer. All right. As always, you're smart, you're strong, you're beautiful. What are you going to do? Change the world. I get so lost inside your eyes. Would you believe it? You don't have to say you love me.